Hello, today I want to talk about dealing with the culture of shame in Africa. Sometime last year, I attended a conference where the popular Nigerian comedian Bovi spoke about the culture of shame. In his session, he drew our attention to some behaviors and attributes of people in leadership across Africa, even up to a secondary school prefect, where immediately we have an opportunity to be in charge of people. There are certain behaviors that are put up that he believes stem from a culture of shame. That session was quite insightful and I think you should check it out. It's on YouTube. It was the Excellence in Leadership Conference 2023. Now, why am I talking about the culture of shame or dealing with the culture of shame? That is because it's an important issue that we need to deal with as Africans. We need to pay attention to. That session was quite insightful for me and it got me thinking about various ways where in our society we are either shaming people or avoiding being shamed. And when you are that conscious, most of the time, you lose your authentic self. And you do not really portray who you really are. You lose your sense of self-worth and self-esteem. I think it's important that we actually discuss various ways that we seem to exhibit this culture of shame. I remember growing up in primary school, secondary school, when people asked what my name was, maybe in class and all that, and I introduced myself as Oghenefego. One of the first questions I got was, "Don't you have an English name?" And I'm like, no, I don't have an English name. I'm Oghenefego, I'm Onome, Ogogo. 3 indigenous names from the Isoko tribe in Nigeria. Now, I got a weird look most of the time, like, how can you not have an English name? Right? I even had friends, classmates then, who gave themselves English names because they felt, man, I can't be answering this long native name. We denigrate or look down on our native names. The new trend is that people now rebrand their native names, right? Because now most parents give their children English names or Western names. So kids now, young people now rebrand their names because they feel, oh, I want it to sound more touche, I want it to sound more cool, right? More relatable with the global audience. So for instance, instead of Oghenefego, I say Figo, right? But it has lost its meaning. Figo and Oghenefego are not the same name. Or instead of Chinaza, you now have Naza, right? And when you're spelling it, you say N-E-Z-E. Yeah? We now have, instead of Osinachuku, right? You now have Sinach. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just giving examples, popular examples that you can relate with. So someone might say, what's the big deal? It's just a name. Yeah, it's just a name, but your name is your identity. Your name is your signature. Your name should carry the essence of who you are. When you know the meaning of your name, when you understand the value in that name, you should answer it with pride. Some of us are worried, oh, but they won't be able to pronounce my name correctly. My friend, listen to me. There are Russian footballers, right? German footballers, Portuguese footballers. If you see the spelling of their names, one long name, or actors and actresses. But we learn to pronounce these names. Trust me, if you answer your native name with pride, people will learn to pronounce that name correctly. So let's stop this culture of shaming our names. Let us embrace our native names. Embrace your native name. Be proud of who you are as an African. Another example I have is growing up, it used to be kind of eating local food, right? Our local dishes. was seen as being poor, right? If you said I ate eba or fufu or amala, like, looking at you. But things are changing, right? But it's still there where people look down on our food. That is a culture of shame. So then growing up, you find out in class, what did you eat last night or what did you eat this morning? Everybody's saying fried rice and chicken. Somebody is saying rice and stew. Everybody, plantain, fried. Nobody is saying eba and egusi soup. In fact, something very funny happened one time in school. I think it was in primary school, where one of our classmates was sick and they were trying to find out what was causing him that pain in his stomach and all. And they asked him what he ate, and he said bread and tea or something that morning. And things got worse, and he started throwing up. It will surprise you to know that this guy was throwing up balls of swallow, right? So it was evident that this guy did not actually eat bread and tea, but he must have said that just to sound cool, so that people do not think that, oh, it's from a poor home because he ate eba in the morning. Whether you like it or not, that's coming from a place of shame and low self-esteem. A place where we do not put a premium on who we are as Africans and what we have as Africans. This culture needs to stop. Thank God for people like Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala. The African fabrics are now becoming more global and trendy and all cool, right? But it wasn't like that. So I really appreciate the fact that we're beginning to be more accepting of our fabrics, right? Our culture, our dire, and tie and dye. But we still had situations where if you bought clothing that was not foreign, right? Kids just felt they were poor. If you wore something that was not made abroad or bought abroad, like a suit and a shirt, like what I'm wearing, if you wore anything and Ankara and all that, you felt, this person must be poor. That's why they cannot afford, right? Whatever brands. That's from a place of shame. And we need to deal with this. We must move from seeking Western approval before we celebrate and accept what is culturally ours. You are African and you should be proud. The Africa we want will not fall from the sky. We have to be deliberate in creating this Africa of our dream. And one of the things we need to do is to deal with the culture of shame. So how do you deal with the culture of shame? I think it starts from a place of self-awareness. Knowing who we are as a people, understanding our strengths, understanding the opportunities that we have as Africans, our uniqueness as a people, and embracing it 101%, all the way. We need to equip the next generation of Africans with the right information to get them to understand that they come from a great continent, from an ancestry of great men and women, and they should be proud. They should walk with their head and shoulder up, that they do not look down on themselves, that they are not less than any human, no matter the color of their skin or the texture of their hair. You are African, you are unique, you are strong, you are wise, you are innovative, you are creative. You come from an ancestry of great men and women who made impact across the world. There needs to be a certain level of deliberacy in shaping the Africans of tomorrow. We need to be clear in our vision of the quality of human beings we want to lead Africa in another 30 years. We have to take our destiny in our own hands. Preserving our cultural heritage is non-negotiable. This is why we have designed the African Culture and Creativity Hub to raise culturally aware and proud Africans. Our mission is to preserve our cultural heritage using various platforms to inspire and educate children and young adults to know who they are, what their values are, and equip them with the skills they need to become great leaders.